Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, live from Minnesota's biggest microphone, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, the name we've all been waiting for, right? Mike Lindell, why not? Welcome to Drive Time. It is Jason. You got Susie updating you on the news. Dan is here as well. There's a lot going on right now, as you heard in the news. Members of the Somali community are gathering, talking about what people should be doing. Do you think anybody at this news conference is going to say, if you are here illegally, you should probably go back home? No one ever says that. No one ever says that. Look, I have been outspoken, not enthusiastic at all about the way the federal government has been doing these immigration sweeps, and especially new information coming out today where the first look they've been able to do at sort of analyzing the people who've been arrested and detained during these big city immigration sweeps. Remember the whole bit about criminals? They were going to get the criminals out of here. And I think a lot of us look at that and think, thank goodness, get the criminals out of here. I think you can even go to the next step and say people who are here, who shouldn't be here, who were deported in the past or ordered to go back, that fine, all right, you want to round those folks up, and that is supposedly what the federal government is working at here. People did vote for immigration action. That's what they voted for. It was one of the major issues of the campaign. And I wonder today if there are people who voted for this but didn't expect this. Or is this exactly what people wanted? I think it's mostly the latter. It is mostly people are getting exactly what they wanted. I do want to start by playing a little bit of the news conference yesterday when the police chief, because this is making a ton of news today, and I am puzzled as to why. So I want you to listen to what Police Chief Brian O'Hara said, and then tell me if it makes you mad at 651-461-9226, because I don't get it. Well, I do get it. I do get it. I have a theory. I'll explain it in a minute. But first, listen to what the police chief said.
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that, that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911. And you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, we very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report, and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document, whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if that there's law enforcement present or not. And that's something else, that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing, that we will document and report these types of things anytime that we hear it, and reminding our officers of their duty to intervene. So if there is anything that is, a violation of someone's human rights or civil rights, excessive force or anything like that, they absolutely have a duty to intervene as police officers.
All right. So bearing in mind that this is a state where we had someone impersonating a law enforcement officer showing up at the front doors of state elected officials, Melissa Hortman. Isn't it totally reasonable to say, like, hey, if these ICE agents have been masked, we're not seeing their faces. They're not, you asked to see their badge number? So for the police chief to say, like, if you think something's sort of weird, call 911. To me, that is the peak of logical and reasonable and absolutely what he should say. And so here is the nation's border czar reacting, just about as you'd expect.
Look, I'll say the same thing I said to other chiefs of police in sanctuary cities. Shame on you. I mean, your number one responsibility is the safety and security of your communities. And ICE is targeting criminals. Criminals. So for you not to partner with ICE to make your community safer is shameful. He ought to put his badge in the desk drawer and walk away, because he stopped being a cop, become a politician. If a true law enforcement official would work with ICE, okay, look, I don't want to be an immigration officer. I'll leave that to you guys. But when we have an illegal alien and public safety threat in the community, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with you. I want to help you make my community safer, because the chief of police, that's my number one responsibility. If he wants to watch, stand aside, do it. But if you cross that line, Pam Bondi and her U.S. attorneys are waiting to prosecute anybody that impedes law enforcement, ICE law enforcement, Border Patrol law enforcement in doing their job. Zero tolerance for impeding ICE in their operations.
All right. Did you hear Brian O'Hara anywhere say that Minneapolis police were going to impede ICE agents? What I heard was the police chief saying that he was going to make sure that that people didn't sort of intervene with legitimate operations, telling people that they should call 911. I mean, come on. That is absolutely smart and reasonable. And the chief was 100% correct. Now, should our cities have these sanctuary city policies? Should our cities refuse to work with immigration agents and federal agents to enforce immigration laws? That's a different topic. I don't know that I don't want to get into that. It's a different topic, right? But what do you think? What do you think of what the chief said? Is he correct to say, call 911 if you're unsure if someone is a legitimate law enforcement officer? I don't even see how it's a conversation. I think it is 100% a reasonable thing to say. And on top of it, knowing that we've had people impersonating law enforcement officers before in an assassination spree that happened in our state. Now, when I said that, I have a theory as to why I think Tom Homan went so hard against Brian O'Hara is because we live in an information environment where people don't actually listen to what anybody says. And instead, you get this sort of headline that was shared on one X account, and I'll read it to you. Holy crap, Tom Homan is livid after the Democrat police chief of Minneapolis demanded residents to call 911 on ICE officers for kidnapping. What? Is that what you heard? But that is spreading like wildfire today. Shameful. Just ridiculous. Police do have a duty to intervene if they see excessive force. They do. They just do. That is the law in Minnesota. So, as a texter points out, this is a can of worms because everyone's just going to claim excessive force and calling the cops. It's a mess, man. I am worried that we're in a tinderbox and that the next couple days in this city, I've seen some videos already of ICE agents taking action at like Carmel Mall, which is sort of a headquarters of the Somali population. But we'll see if we get more reports of this. But I don't know, man. I'm nervous about it for sure. 318, let's break. 651-461-9226. You have a problem with anything Brian O'Hara had to say? We'll talk about it when we come back.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
I want you to have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. It's Jason here for the great people at the Minnesota Pork Board, where they encourage you to put flavor on the table. Put flavor on the table. This is kind of go time for Minnesota pork. Now, my family on Thanksgiving, we had a ham. We had a very dry turkey, and we had a very delicious ham. With Christmas coming, so many of you are going to make Minnesota pork a part of your family celebrations. I make Minnesota pork a part of my dinner every week. Breakfast, of course. You know bacon, you know sausage. But that's just the beginning. If you go to tastewhatporkcando.com, you're going to get all sorts of great information. Minnesota pork is full of flavor. It is high protein, and it is so delicious. The beauty of Taste What Pork Can Do is that you can go and search recipes based on the way you're cooking. So if you're firing up the oven on a chilly night like tonight, boom, sort by baking. This egg roll in a bowl is a great way to eat healthy as well and quick. It's a 20-minute recipe right on the homepage of tastewhatporkcando.com. Get to the grocery store and butcher shop. Let's support those 3,000 family farmers all over Minnesota. And let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Nick, what are you doing?
Well, Adam, Thanksgiving is over, so it's officially time for the holidays.
And it's time for our Legacy Box Cyber Monday sale. Legacy Box is the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. It's simple, safe, and has been trusted by millions.
That's right. It's our best sale of the year. Right now, when you go to legacybox.com, you can save an unreal 65% on your Legacy Box.
And for a limited time, you can preserve your tapes, film reels, and photos for as low as $27, saving you hundreds.
Hurry, our best sale of the year won't last long. Visit legacybox.com for an unreal 65% off during our Cyber Week sale. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast.
Shop our Cyber Week sale now at legacybox.com/value to take 65% off. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. legacybox.com/value.
Jason DeRusha
These are my issues here, and they become yours too, because that's what this show is.
on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So much breaking news this afternoon again. It's just like, this is the deal for sure. Texters all responding. 2 words, Vance Belter. Right. Like, this is exactly why Brian O'Hara has to say, and is correct to say, and this is a lesson that all of us should have. If you are unsure, call 911. It's fine. Let the police come and do the work. Don't get yourself in the way. Don't get yourself in an argument with somebody who may or may not be an ICE agent. Now, I will say this, and I understand why the message from local leaders is all about, okay, if somebody comes to your door, you don't have to talk to an ICE agent. You don't have to do this. And I think that is fine and proper to inform people of their legal rights. I also do think it would be okay to say, like, if you were ordered to leave the country and you didn't, you should probably leave the country. And I get that is like not, that is the frustrating thing for me in this, because I don't know if, I guess, Dan, I wonder if these crackdowns are as controversial in the general public as it sort of feels like based on the political debate. Because my gut on this says that most people believe if you are here illegally, you should not be here. And I think it is difficult for most people to get beyond the whole, well, like, this is pretty straightforward. Like, if you're not here legally, what's the big deal about ICE coming and sending you back?
Yeah, and that's, it's an understandable reaction to a point, and we react.
I don't know.
That way.
I don't 100% disagree with
right.
it.
Well, we react that way all the time when it's not something that directly impacts your life. It's really easy to go, well, but isn't it just a matter of if you're not supposed to be here, you shouldn't be here, right? But we know when we actually bother to look at and see how these operations work, that what the government is telling us they're doing versus what they're actually doing, often there's shades of gray at the very least. And I'm being generous in saying that. And when you see how this is being done, I think when people, if they had a direct relationship to it, I think they wouldn't be as quick to just say, well, you shouldn't be here, you should just go.
Right.
It's just not as simple as that when it works out in the real world. And the part of this that bothers me in the back and forth in this twisting of what O'Hara actually said into what the righties want it to have been said is that there's this attempt to blur the line between not actively helping federal immigration forces and opposing them.
Yeah. Yes.
Because there's nothing that O'Hara said that would have actively prohibited ICE from doing anything. And it's being turned into, well, then you're actually, interfering with our operations and if you're not with us, you're against us, that kind of thing. And that's really dangerous.
Pretty common rhetoric for this administration, I think. Texter Chief O'Hara was spot on. Tom Homan should be admonished for his outrageous comment. Another texter. And I think this is the bigger point, right? So when I say that I am I get it. And I don't disagree with people who say, if you're here illegally, you shouldn't be here. I think the objection is twofold. One, it's clearly a group that is being targeted out of retribution from a vindictive president. And so that's what this is. Are there people, as this texter says, I'm going to read the text because I think it's right. ICE is totally engaging in overkill. Their tactics do not fit the alleged crime of being here undocumented, which is a misdemeanor in most cases. If they are actually targeting criminals, I have no issue with that. But until I see ICE conducting raids against undocumented white immigrants, there are between 500 and 600,000 of them, then I'll see ICE as a discriminatory, unlawful, immoral force, especially masked and not and lacking visible ID. I mean, I think that's the bigger issue, right? It's the tactics, it's the overkill, it's today we've decided to go after Somalis in Minnesota. Where you say, okay, if you devised a plan to go get all of the violent criminals out, that would be fine. That would be fine. But that's not what we're seeing. And already the reports are coming in, taking a look at the raids that have been done and how many are criminals and how many had criminal records. And it's not many. It's not many. Most arrested in the Chicago, LA, and DC immigration crackdown. Most have not had any criminal background. They had civil immigration violations. Fewer than 20. So it's there are 25 people with criminal charges were detained in those three cities per day. That's it. So what are we really doing, right? I think that's sort of the question. That the city council prohibits MPD from working hand in hand with ICE is causing unnecessarily wasted time and resources, says a texter. Fanatics on both sides are distorting the situation. ICE's own statistics, says another texter, say only 30% of detainees have any criminal record. I will say I've seen this argument a lot. People who are here illegally commit fewer crimes than citizens. I guess that doesn't persuade me in any way. What case are you making? I suppose if the argument is that the crackdown on people who are here illegally is designed to make our streets safer, that perhaps debunks that. But I don't know. The problem is they're taking collateral people who happen to be in the vicinity and have done nothing wrong. Yeah, I mean, if you, I know, I have a friend who is of Somali heritage, born here in Minnesota, and she's got her passport with her at all times. Personally, I think that kind of sucks. I don't have to have my papers with me at all times. But one of our neighbors, one of our fellow Minnesotans, has to have her papers with her all the time because the federal government has decided that they're pissed off at Minnesota and they don't like Tim Walz. And so we're going to go round up some Somalis. Great. This is what you voted for. Is this what you voted for? I don't know. It's not the America that I thought we were doing. But here we are. 3:29. We are going to break, and we'll continue following this, throughout the day. We'll have updates. Chris Madel is going to be with us, who I find to be a fascinating guy with a very different background, running as a Republican. And we'll ask him what he thinks about the immigration raids that are going on in Minnesota as well. That's coming up at 4:30. But we're going to talk with Tracy Perlman in just a minute. She's in studio with us today. We are going to talk about young people, new research looking at young people who are going broke, trying to look rich. What is going on out there? Tracy will join us in just a minute on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Welcome, everyone, to Texters Anonymous. Let's start with the introductions.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I texted Chad's show 6 times during one segment.
Hi, Dave.
I swore I'd stop texting during DeRusha, but then he said something about the governor, and I just...
It's okay, Lisa. We've all been there.
I didn't even mean to text today. The talk and text line just called to me.
Yeah,
I get it.
If you can't stop listening or texting, you're not alone. You're just one of the many Minnesotans who are highly addicted.
Okay, who texted during the meeting?
The first step is, of course, admitting that you love it. The second step is getting others hooked, too. News Talk 830 WCCO.
This holiday season, now David is in Sweden. Batteries are batteries. SteelUSA.com for gift ideas and seasons. Dave from Steel. For limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. Hear what they're saying about this brand I love.
Tell me about your experience with the night gummies.
I started using them. I think this is my 3rd order. I heard Jordana on WCCO radio talking about it, and I thought, well, if she's doing it, trying to get off the Ambien, and I started with the pineapple gummies for sleep. That's what I take them for, is sleep. And I've been very pleased with the product. I started with the full gummy. Now I only take half, and that helps me sleep. So I'm very happy with the product. And I'm 70 years old.
And those sleep night gummies will help her sleep painlessly through the night. Those sleep night gummies are a real charm. Check out Mini Leaf's products at MINNELEAF.com. Check out that Triple Diamond Pain Cream, those sleep night gummies, or their other great products. I use them. There's so many CCOers that absolutely love them. You will too.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in, store online. You got some problems over in St. Paul. Northbound 35E near Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a multi-car crash with injuries. Traffic is down to a single lane using the far left lane to make its way past the scene of the wreck, and that's jamming things up on 35E. It's also affecting the ramps from both directions of I-94, so get ready for some delays as you make way through that area. If you're going to be traveling 36 eastbound, not too bad of a drive this afternoon with minor slowdowns past Snelling Avenue. 610 eastbound, some slowing as we move between Broadway and 252. Get 24 ounces of Rayo's pasta sauces for $5.99 with Prime through December 9th at Whole Foods Market. The shortcut is an easy pasta night. Just heat, pour, and twirl. While supplies last, shop in store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast is brought to you by Gutman Law, wills, trust, and probate law. GutmanLaw.com. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Tonight, we chill, falling all the way back to 5 below. Our first trip below zero this season. At least the wind will back off. Starting off with sunshine tomorrow, increasing clouds with a high in the mid-teens. It will be breezy again, so likely feeling like the single digits throughout the day. A few flurries possible on Friday, some more light snow possible on Saturday. Neither a big storm. It stays cool through the weekend.
It is cold, 16 degrees and sunny on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always, and I mean always, on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Yes, so crazy right now. Most incredibly, it's your girl, me, it's your boy, Young.
Texters are saying the president is doing a news conference right now where he called Minnesota a hellhole. So this does go to a conversation that we were having yesterday when I asked the mayor of Minneapolis if he thought the rhetoric that Tim Walz was using against the president was really helping Minnesota. I get the visceral appeal. I get the idea of saying, like, release the MRI results, but did we poke the bear? I don't know what the morally right thing to do, but just looking tactically, has this worked out well? No, it has not. Okay, let's have some fun. Tracy Perlman joins us in studio today.
I'm here.
Very nice.
Hello.
It's great to have you over here. How does it feel to be back in Minneapolis?
It's lovely. It's just as cold on this side of town as it is on the east side.
It is cold. It's too cold.
It got real cold. I brought out my sleeping bag jacket for this trek.
Yeah.
But it's nice because
how many different weather types of jackets do you own?
I have long coat, which I brought. I have past knee coat, and then I have normal, just under your butt.
Yep.
Kind of coat. And then I've got the bomber, like I'm also wearing today.
Yeah.
So I have several. I don't know. I'd have to count.
There's different seasons, right? You've got early fall. I've got a little chill. It's 65. And now I need the thin.
Yeah. I just need a little something. And then I've got fuzzy coat. And then I have dress coat.
I have an Arctic winter coat as well, though.
Wow.
Hardcore. Because I do walk. How many blocks do I walk here now? Dan always corrects me because I like to act like I'm walking 7 miles.
You've skyways over here.
Well, except they don't all connect. So you can get most of the way via the Skyway, and then you have to get down on
it. And at night, you don't know. You're
that's true.
Yeah, you can't get back into them at night unless you're in a connected building.
As we all know, my tiny puppy, Poppy, goes outside several times a night. So I have multiple coats, multiple boots, and multiple gloves for when I take her out.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Gen Z is going broke to look rich. They call it financial flexing, which is magical. I understand this.
Yeah.
Do you see this out there?
Absolutely. Everyone's telling you what products to buy, and you have to have this, and you have to have the best jackets, and buy this coat and this lip gloss and this makeup and all of that. And I think it's really, really easy to get influenced. So I understand those quick little splurges on Instagram shop, TikTok shop, the ads, all of it.
Sort of the designer, I'm amazed at the designer stuff, right? You see people in their 20s with handbags, for example, that I know are $2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
Yeah. And I don't know if all of them are real. Let's be honest. There's some real good knockoffs out there. But I do think people are putting themselves in debt to buy this stuff. I have a lot of friends who live on the West Coast, and I see them live this way, where the exterior is the fancy car, the fancy bags, the perfect outfits, and then their apartments are bare bones. There's like no furniture, no decor.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
There is sort of a counter movement that, we talked yesterday on the show. A
Yeah.
third of Americans are saying, we're not doing gifts for Christmas.
Yeah.
Sort of the buy nothing group on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I have found, like, if I try to give something away on Facebook, that's more annoying than charging $10 for it.
Isn't it funny? I think people would rather have it for $10 because of the perceived value versus the
Maybe.
free.
I just think free people who are shopping for free stuff are annoying people.
Oh.
So they want to ask 1,000 questions about the item that I'm giving you for nothing.
That's because they don't want your lemon.
It costs nothing.
But then I have to deal with it. I enjoy like a thrift store moment though.
Are you a real thrifter, or are you like, this is just something that goes on your dating profile?
No.
Because this is
it's not on my dating profile, but that is the
common-
new thing. Everyone's a thrifter. I'm not that kind of a thrifter.
I'm into this is what, when my kids were going off to college, every kid said the same thing.
But that
I'm into
generation,
thrifting and live music, and
I like live music, so let's not poo-poo that.
I'm just saying.
I do enjoy. I was actually just at Goodwill last week. I found a great Packers sweater that my mom is going to wear to an ugly sweater party next week.
That's fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I
like the
little
hunt.
things.
I think that's
Yes.
part of the fun of the thrifting.
Yeah,
I like thrifting. My wife does not like wearing other people's clothing.
Which is totally fine and fair. I get that.
I don't know.
I
It's
like to
kinda-
pick
how
through.
do you know if you buy something new if somebody didn't try it?
Totally, yes.
I don't.
Because I didn't pay $10 for it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the picking through. It's not something I do all the time.
Yeah.
And it's totally hit or miss. But sometimes you can find a fun little knick-knack or thing. Some cute good finds at a Goodwill or another
Yeah.
thrift store.
Minnesota, we
I
have a
like it.
lot of thrift stores, don't we?
There's a ton.
Yeah, like
and antique
Savers
stores.
Oh, where are you on antiques?
No.
Mm.
I want to know, one, how are they getting the old people family photos? Like from 1872. And then whose family are those?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did at a friend one year because I made that comment while at a thrift store or at an antique store, who then bought me 5 of them for my birthday. And I can't throw them away because they obviously are haunting my house now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
The antique, did you ever do this as a kid? Like, I remember this being like a common thing at like Disney World or amusement parks, where you would go in to get your photo taken in like the old timey
Yes.
clothing, and you get dressed up in
They
the
do it at the
old
state
timey
fair.
suit.
I never did that. Or Valley Fair used to have it.
I think my family used to do that.
That was not a Lisa and Chuck thing. No, we
That
were
was a
not
hard
doing
no
it.
for
Hard
the
no for the
Perlmans?
Perlmans. Hard
We-
no.
It seems to me, and I should check the next time I go to my parents' house in Chicago, but I remember like some of these old timey photos with the kids, and did my parents get dressed up? Like, I just remember going, and you put on these crazy outfits,
Yeah.
and they do it at, before filters. They
Oh,
take
yeah.
the photo in some sort of sepia,
yeah.
tone.
And you'd have like a gun and a raccoon and like a badge. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Dan Cook is showing his.
I like that Dan was able to find his so fast. I do have one saved on my phone, and let me see if I can find it fast enough.
This is why you got to watch the stream on YouTube, WCCO radio
Yes.
channel. Just click live.
Watch us talk live.
That is amazing, Dan. And Dan, it appears, got that picture taken within the last 2-3 years. Just a solo picture of him with a big old sword. Is that your dating profile picture also? I don't know.
It could work. If
It's
you're
actually-
looking for somebody to slay a dragon for you, Dan is
There you go.
Dan does it.
No, that was 2009, actually.
Oh, pre-pandy.
Yes, very much so.
Very strange. I
Were-
just think
were
it's
you
a
at the
strange
fair?
thing.
I was at Gettysburg in Pennsylvania.
Oh, well then see that tracks, Gettys. When you're at
So
like
I was-
Valley Fair, it doesn't make as much sense.
No, not quite.
Although it feels like what is the other thing in Shakopee with where it does make sense, where they're drinking mead.
Oh,
Well,
the
Renaissance Fair.
Yes, Renfest. Yes.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
That makes more sense.
I want you to not be dressed in old timey. I want you to be like ye old photo stand with a like winged fairy and a knight.
Oh, the texture says Mall of America. I do know that.
I remember
at
that one.
Mall.
It was up by the
Yeah.
mini golf.
Mm-hmm.
That
It's
was
just a
up
weird. Why do we do this? Why do you want?
Should you have a photo booth at Grand Casino Arena where everybody ends up looking like the Henson brothers?
Oh, that would be awesome. Your long,
have-
luscious blonde hair.
Just have wigs, the
Yeah.
3 Chiefs jerseys, a bunch of foil.
I like that. We do a photo area during concerts at section 113, and it changes based on the show.
There
So
you
like
go.
Pentatonics, we had a whole winter scene and Christmas scene.
That's fun.
It was very fun. I love decorating Christmas trees. I'm getting really good at it. I've done a lot of them.
Tracy
at work.
Perlman,
Mhm.
noted
Yeah.
Jew.
Very noted Jew. Also, decorator of Christmas
Why?
trees.
What is that about? What's that?
That's one of my many hats that I wear.
It's just a quirk. It's one of your quirks.
It is, yeah. I've always enjoyed doing it though. I like a little sparkle. You
It's
know?
fair.
Yeah.
We did get
tracks.
we did get the silver-ish
Mhm.
Christmas tree for our apartment.
Yeah, and it
based
looks
on your
great.
recommendation. Yeah. Tracy Perlman is with us. She is a Grand Poobah at Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul, former coworker of mine at Channel 4.
Yeah.
When we come back, and I know nothing about this topic, but women think men are not making enough of an effort on dating apps. Are men too lazy? Maybe just stop
Period.
right there.
Just-
Maybe that's just it.
Back after this.
Are men too lazy? And we'll talk about those top music lists, the Spotify, and
Yeah.
I think Apple, although I don't think I got my list today, but maybe I just don't know where to find it.
I may have opted out.
I don't know. We'll talk about the best songs of the year, all those lists as well, as we continue here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
JH and Sons at the Galleria wants to see you. It's Jason here for my go-to spot for men's clothing. And this holiday season, oh, what a great place to go find a gift for a special guy in your life. JH and Sons, the beauty of visiting there is that you're going to have unreal service. They're legendary for their tailored clothing. So the suits are on point. The tailoring is immaculate, but it's the vibes and the people that set JH and Sons apart. You're going to go see Kevin or Chuck or Bryce, and you're going to have just a tremendous experience. I was just talking to Chad about JH and Sons today because Chad went there to buy suits for his guys. I was walking into work today wearing a great winter overcoat that I got at JH and Sons. They'd love to see you over at the Galleria. It's a beautiful store. Sign up for their email list because they have a holiday party coming soon. So I'm going to be hanging out at this holiday party at JH and Sons, and I think it's 2 weeks away. Yeah, Tuesday the 16th. So I'd love to see you there. Sign up for the email list to get all the information. That's at jhandsons.com.
The holidays will be here soon.
And whether you've been coming to Thielen Meats and Piers for generations,
Or looking to start a new family tradition,
you'll want to put us on your holiday wish list.
we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
We add those melt-in-your-mouth moments to your holiday celebration.
High quality meats that keep our customers coming back for more.
That's why we've become a holiday tradition for so many folks.
No meal's complete without Thielen Meats
Of Piers.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well,
Not in the fun way. Think warthog with a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Most insurance is accepted for these effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Hello, I'm Patrick Tucson, President of Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota. For 160 years, we've walked alongside Minnesotans, helping them overcome challenges and live with dignity. Every day, we empower our neighbors across the state to reach new possibilities for themselves. Your gift, LSS, opens the door to safe housing for youth, families, and individuals with disabilities, dependable childcare for parents, meals and companionship for older adults who want to live with greater independence, and so much more. You're not just helping individuals, you're creating real, lasting change. This holiday season, your support matters more than ever. Please give generously at lssmn.org/donate. That's lssmn.org/donate. Together, we change lives. Thank you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Down to a couple of vehicles now for the crash 35E northbound near Pennsylvania. They are now off to the right shoulder, but as you travel through the area, get ready for the delays. North 35 east slowing as far back as Randolph. 94 eastbound's jammed up past 280 into St. Paul. West 94 jammed up at Mounds Boulevard. And this is also affecting the ramp coming off of Highway 52. So that's jammed up as you come in from Plato Boulevard. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
It's Dave Lee for Aquarius. Boy, I love the holidays, and I love my Connecticut water. Softer laundry, sparkling dishes, and worry-free drinking water. My advice, schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com and enjoy up to 25% off this holiday season.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Weather brought to you by Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. Pretty much the same bit for the next couple of days. 5 below is going to be your low tonight. You'll wake up that cold. Tomorrow it stays cold, just 16 high. Friday, flurries in the forecast up to 28, so at least we're moving in the right direction. Right now, it is 16 degrees. Brr on CC.
This is News Talk 830 WCCO. Broadcasting live from the 2026 IIHF World Junior Championship Studio. Single game tickets are on sale now at worldjuniorsmn26.com.
Put your hands up in the club, just broke up. I'm doing my own little thing. You decided to dip, and now you want to trip.
Tracy Perlman is with us in studio. She works for Grand Casino Arena. Just brought me some lovely gifts from Visit St. Paul, and now that I'm a St. Paul guy.
Yeah, welcome to the east side.
It's nice. It's nice over there.
It's very pretty right now. You've got a great view of Rice Park is all lit up pretty.
This weekend, they've got like the big official lighting of the Christmas tree at the big market at Union Depot, the European Christmas market.
The Glow Holiday Festival is happening down the street.
I got to get to
you.
Glow. I've never been to that.
Yeah, that's fun. And then we're going to have ice bumper cars during the Bold North Breakaway, which is the Fan Fest.
That's fun.
It's super fun. We'll have to get you out for that. And then all the World Juniors, lots and lots of hockey coming up this month.
Women think men are not making enough of an effort on dating apps. You've been on the apps.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have.
What is the problem? What are men doing that is lazy?
I think there's just such an abundance of people that you can be like, next, not that into her. We'll see if she's into me. I think women are guilty of it too, but I think women are more apt to complain about it. So you can, let's just say for argument's sake, swipe right and then get a yes. that I like you. So some guys, I've been told, will swipe right on everybody and then see which women like them back.
Yes. Okay.
And then you get like a minimal effort text. Hey, what's up? How are you? And you're like, I can't have a conversation with that. If I'm going to throw the ball to you and ask you a question and you just answer it and you don't ask me anything back, I'm personally moving on.
Yeah.
But there are some people who are like, why isn't he texting me? Why won't he write me back? And you're like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. There is not a lot of effort. Then what happens when you finally do get asked out on the date? You have to plan it yourself?
Men are more likely to not complete the about section of their dating profile.
Yeah.
Women are more likely to say they update their bios often. 7 in 10 straight millennial men surveyed said they have never updated their dating profiles since first creating them.
Yeah, and they probably haven't updated their photos with their fish. Their sisters, maybe. Their ex-girlfriends, maybe. The nieces and nephews is always a confusing one because then you're like, do you have kids? Which is fine, but let's not false advertise or be confusing here.
Texter says, yes, us men have become lazy. Why make the effort when all the rich guys get the good women?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. You gold diggers. All you women are a bunch of gold diggers.
Maybe if you had a little bit of a personality.
Yeah. Is that enough? What matters more, rich guy or personality?
I'm going to say personality.
Really?
I make good money.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want to hang out with a
How
rich guy
rich?
who's boring.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you I had a phase where I thought
I don't know where this is going.
it's not a dating app.
Okay.
It is a rich guy
Oh,
phase
yes.
where I had this idea that I should have some rich friends.
Oh.
And so I started hanging out with a couple of like awful idea.
But did you have more fun?
With the rich people?
Yeah. Like that's why I hang out with my parents. They've got way more money than me.
No, the problem is like the Minnesota rich people, kind of cheap.
Yeah, that's how they have their money, Jason. They're
so
not
like I
spending
took
it.
this rich guy to dinner and I got the pleasure of picking up the very expensive tab.
Yeah.
And then he countered. He was like, well, I'll get the next time. Fine. So we went to dinner in his suburb. Now, the dinner we were at was like 3 bottles of $100 wine.
Oh.
And then his dinner, no wine.
2 McGolden Lights.
Now, another texter says there is a lot of truth that women are all after money. Women are after money. I don't know.
You know, maybe
Is that just an excuse that guys make when they're
Yes.
like an
I think it's an excuse.
yeah, Dan is saying
Yes,
same
I
thing.
think it's an excuse. I also think you have to present yourself nice. I've gone on dates where guys are in a hoodie and I'm like, we're going out to a restaurant. Could you have put on a little bit of a nicer outfit?
Do you think is this because COVID sort of messed everybody up? Is this because we had this sort of 5 or 6 year period where what masculinity was going to show up as was sort of in flux?
Maybe. I also think there's a little bit of people just want that instant. Give it to me now. I want to go on the date. I want the satisfaction of somebody texting me, of being in a relationship. The courting itself of dating is completely gone.
Well, there's sort of the hookup culture has sort of played a role in that too, right? Where I'm not putting that much into this effort into this because it's probably not going to last beyond a week.
Yeah. I just want that instant gratification. Yeah. And no commitment.
The top Spotify rap song came out from Minneapolis. It is the Kendrick Lamar SZA song, Luther. Pink Pony Club was number 3.
Yep.
Top artist, Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I can believe that. He's got a show coming up.
Oh.
US Bank Stadium.
Nice. All right. Fun to have you in.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Tracy.
Good to see you guys.
News is next. Is Minnesota too generous? We'll talk about that.
The KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie, the best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
The news cycle never stops. Neither do we. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live via the Odyssey and iHeartRadio apps.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Pentagon's internal watchdog has determined Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth jeopardized sensitive military information in a chat on the Signal messaging app. It found he shared certain details about military operations in Yemen. CBS's James Laporta.
What sources are telling us about the Inspector General report, which is set to be published tomorrow, the unclassified version, is this, that if those messages had been intercepted by an adversary, it could have potentially put American troops in danger, and it could have potentially jeopardized the entire operation that they were doing.
Lawmakers had called for an independent investigation into the matter. Tomorrow, they are set to question the admiral, who Hegseth says ordered a second strike on a suspected drug boat back in September, reportedly killing 2 survivors of the first strike. CBS's Weijia Jiang at the White House.
Hopefully a lot of questions will be answered, but again, this is a classified briefing, so it really just depends on what lawmakers can talk about afterward. But tomorrow is a really big day to determine or try to determine what happened and why.
The president is easing mileage standards for vehicles. Linda Kenyon reports.
President Trump says the standards put in place by the Biden administration were too costly.
Biden's burdensome regulations helped cause the price of cars to soar more than 25%.
Surrounded by Republican lawmakers and automotive industry leaders, the president said the so-called electric car mandate will be a thing of the past.
People want the gasoline car. They want everything. They want electric. They want to have lots of alternatives.
While there is no federal policy requiring auto companies to sell electric vehicles, some states have imposed rules of their own that significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Immigration enforcement operations are underway now in New Orleans, and in Minneapolis, they're bracing for the same, but in this case, targeting Somalis.
I've been here since 1994. I was only 3 years old when I came, and this is my home, and this has got to stop.
Mayor Jacob Fry.
We stand firm and rock solid with the Somali people here in Minneapolis.
The administration has halted all immigration applications filed by people from 19 countries. That includes the completion of citizenship ceremonies for legal U.S. permanent residents from those countries. Immigration attorney Greg Chen.
This is hurting American families and businesses, people who've been waiting for a long time. And it's important to recognize here that these people's cases have already been thoroughly vetted.
On Wall Street, stocks finished higher. This is CBS News.
check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select Steel tools. Shop online at steelusa.com or in-store.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
A few clouds, 13 degrees at 4:03. I'm Susie Jones. Somali American Minnesotans are bracing for federal immigration raids expected this week in the Twin Cities. At a meeting that's happening right now in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood, they heard from city and state lawmakers about what action to take if an agent approaches them. They're also being advised to carry passports and other important documents. DFL State Senator Scott Dibble among them, talking about the dangers of Trump's hateful words towards Somali people.
We are still grieving the assassination of Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, and the attempted assassination of our colleague Senator John Hoffman, his wife Yvette, and their daughter Hope. Acts carried out by an individual radicalized by exactly this kind of language.
Also this afternoon, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey signing an executive order prohibiting federal, state, and local agencies from using any city-owned parking lots, ramps, garages, or vacant lots to stage, civil immigration enforcement operations. Meanwhile, University of Minnesota law professor Anna Acosta says all immigrants in the community are on edge, adding the Trump administration's daily arrest quota is still very prevalent,
where they have to arrest at least 3,000 people in the country per day. And often, in order to make those quotas, they engage in something called collateral arrest. So any person that they encounter who they suspect is present in the U.S. without lawful status, they will arrest them and take them into custody.
She says that a Supreme Court ruling over the summer opens the door for racial profiling to be used as grounds for immigration stops. Well, authorities have released the names of the officer and the person who was shot last week in Plymouth.
The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension identified the officer as Jacob Coopet. He responded to a domestic disturbance call shortly after 4:30 a.m. on November 25th on the 6100 block of Quinwood Lane North. Upon arriving, he found 44-year-old Atanas Herestev of Champlin in the parking lot with a handgun pointed at him. Coopet then shot Herestev, who was taken to a hospital where he remains in stable condition. Coopet is currently on critical incident leave. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Automotive shops expected to be busy these next couple of days with sub-zero temperatures tomorrow. People waking up to find
dead batteries.
That is Spencer Du Bois, a mechanic at D&D Auto in St. Louis Park.
If you experience a slow crank when you first started in the morning, definitely get your battery checked.
Yeah. He also says make sure you have enough air in your tires, as the cold weather tends to allow the air to seep out. Finally, it's been a tumultuous season for the Minnesota Vikings, you think? Quarterback J.J. McCarthy returns to the starting lineup this Sunday against Washington and could be playing for his future over the next 5 games. Head coach Kevin O'Connell on what he'd like to see from his young quarterback.
I want him to have a clear head and a clear mind to just go play, but play with an understanding of the decisions that I make with the ball in my hand, the decisions that I make as a passer, and as we've learned, very important as a runner to protect himself. You know, our turnover number is where it is, and it's not a winning formula.
Kickoff noon on Sunday at US Bank Stadium. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
All clear north 35 via Pennsylvania Street. All lanes opened up. Traffic is heavy, though, as you come up from Victoria Street, heading up to Highway 36 and East 94. That's a jam up that begins as far back as Highway 280. South 35W 46th Street, crash off to the left side. Looks like patrol's going to move it off to the right shoulder, but in the meantime, get ready for slowdowns there as you come down from University Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Packed with flavor and packed with protein. Oh, yeah. Taste what pork can do for you. 3,000 family pig farmers reminding you to order that holiday ham. Bake that juicy tenderloin, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board. Taste what pork can do for you. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Bundle up, baby. We're taking our first trip below zero tonight. Mainly clear sky will bottom out around 5 below, feeling more like 15 to 20 below with a little bit of wind. Clouds will increase tomorrow, almost the opposite of today. 16 the afternoon high. It will be breezy again. A few flurries on Friday. It stays cool into the weekend.
All right now a few clouds and 13 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Reliable, surprising, and kind of addictive. Keep listening to find out why. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Is Minnesota too generous? It's a tough question to struggle with, but as we look at fraud, we got to get beyond just saying fraud. We had all this fraud, so much fraud. There are bigger questions, I think. And the bigger question is, have we been too trusting, too generous, too much money without enough money going to make sure these funds are going to the right direction? I was thinking about this just, as I was trying to think, how do we move this conversation forward? How do we, yes, there has to be a better way than the Donald Trump way of, these Somalis ripped off Minnesota and ripped off the federal government, so we should send all of them back to Somalia, which is preposterous and racist and ridiculous and not practical. And a lot of the people he's talking about are American citizens. And offensive and shocking and all of the things, right? And the other side is the Tim Walz approach, which is, well, you heard him on Meet the Press the other day. When he was asked about fraud in Minnesota, he said,
certainly, I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals.
Okay. So, first of all, do you think many criminals are checking the AAA bond rating? I mean, is that what is getting it done? I don't know. But this is the fundamental question. Is Minnesota too generous? 651-461-9226. The governor, I think, correctly points out this generosity as a strength of our state. The fact that we've had a stronger social safety net has been part of Minnesota forever. And in 2023, Minnesota spent nearly $46,000 on welfare per person in poverty. So this is data from the Census Bureau. And this was 2023, so we know those expenditures have gone up and up and up. And the Center for the American Experiment, which is a conservative think tank, so know their agenda and know where they're coming from here. But they took a look at this and they said, all right, let's look at the percentage of spending. So in 2018 through 2021, we were spending between 41 and 42% of our state budget on elementary through high school education. 41 to 42%. In 2024, we spent 35%. And what's happening is that the percentage of money that we're spending on health and human services, that is the safety net. That is the funding that fraudsters have been taking advantage of. That is, it went from 29%. It's forecast next year to be at 35%. So it's up.
Is it too much? The projection is that we will spend $23 billion on health and human services. What's hard in these conversations is that if you're going to make a cut, it's going to hurt actual human beings. Now, the other reality is that if people are stealing money from the taxpayers through fraudulent programs, the money that we as taxpayers are spending to go into the safety net is not helping a single person, not helping anyone. So the latest conversation is around this paid family leave program, which, it's passed. So I don't know. You're not going to undo it immediately. The idea of paid family leave, I think everybody supports it, right? Like if you're having a baby or you got to care for a loved one who is dealing with illness. But the concern I have is that we've been proven to be a state where it's pretty easy to commit fraud. And even when people's alarms and hackles are up, you're like, oh, there's more fraud. There's more fraud. We better keep our eyes out. Hasn't seemed to stop things over the years. They just come up with something new to rip us off on. Texters 651-461-9226. Minnesota is not too generous. It's too gullible. That's pretty interesting. Another texter asking, what is welfare? So in Minnesota, the welfare, there are a lot of different programs, right? Like the autism programs, the daycare funding, the housing programs. These are assistance programs all over the place. Health and human services. So that's what's going on. Texter says everyone knows it's too much. The question is, do we just stop it from growing or do we attempt to reduce? It seems to me that at least stopping the growth and stopping the increases and stopping part of the fraud would be a good place to start. I think without addressing the fraud, if we don't prove that we can stop the fraud, then no one's going to support any of these safety net programs. Right? I think it's that simple. Woody's in Roseville. He's on the CCO Talking Text line. Woody, do you think Minnesota is too generous?
I do think they are way too generous, but of course it is a Democratic state run by Democrats for the most part.
But they used to allocate a higher percentage to education and to schools, and now it's the cost of all of these safety program or welfare type programs are going up and up and up.
So let's do this. Let's look at it in a couple of years and see if they can give you a nationality breakdown of who is using this additional leave of absence and how much fraud is attached to that in a couple of years. I mean, yeah, it's going to take a couple of years to get the data, but
right. I guess I'm not that worried about like this is going to be gamed by people of certain nationalities. I think it's going to be gamed by everybody. Like, I mean, I think if you work at a restaurant, you're going to file, like they claim that you have to certify that you have a need for the leave. So, obviously people who have a baby, you're like, well, that's pretty obvious, right? But if you're caring for your dad who happens to live in Naples, Florida in February, I mean, how are they going to verify that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Woody. I do think for me, we're too generous. I don't know that in the current economic situation, it does us a lot of good to be sort of a desirable place for people to come to get good benefits. Now, I do want to take care of people in need. So this is I guess this to me is the urgency of the fraud problem. Because if you don't solve the fraud, then there are going to be more people like me who are questioning, is any of this worth it? Gene is in Maplewood. Gene, I appreciate you calling in at 651-461-9226. Do you think Minnesota has gotten too generous?
Okay, first of all, I got to tell you that full disclosure, I'm a retired Dakota County social worker.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what this money, this dollar amount, if it's just for financial, or if it also encompasses the employees for, like for me. Now, the population I worked for was adult protection, and most of my clients did not receive any financial assistance at all. If they received anything, it was food stamps, and most of them received, like, if they were on Social Security disability, they didn't get any because they didn't qualify. And if they were on another form called SSI, which is a smaller form, they got $15, if that. But when I was working with them, it was a lot of time it was to try to get them on Social Security disability, and sometimes that took 4 or 5 years to get. I'm not kidding you. But the thing is, when we were working with clients, we were trying to get them. They were vulnerable adults, and sometimes it was trying to get them independent. But then we had the social workers working with developmental disability clients. Now, if that encompasses that, these are county workers who are working diligently to try to get clients, working with clients in chemical health, whatever. So I don't know if they're talking about just the dollar amount, but it was really difficult to get a person on medical assistance. I mean, really difficult. And then they had what they call medical assistance for employed persons. I mean, it was all kinds of, there's different kinds of programs. So
I think the growth, Gene, is not like a lot of the things you're describing, I think are important things that we do want to continue to fund, right? It's a no-brainer because if you don't, you have all sorts of other costs, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I worry that what happened is through the kindness, through the idea of like, well, this could help people, you end up creating so many programs that it's impossible to police them for fraud. And that and I think we've seen it. It's just, you think of how many auditors you'd need to be out on the road checking all this stuff to make sure it's legit.
Yeah, I don't know about that fraud stuff. That was,
that's new stuff since you retired. Maybe it's because you retired.
Oh,
Gene left and everything fell apart.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Gene. Let's break. Bill, hang on. Lots of text too. 651-461-9226. Drive Time back in a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So many different agents to choose from, and the one that really gets you results, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Dave Peterson joins us now. Dave, what was your experience like working with the Schuster Group?
Well, after an unsuccessful attempt to sell the home ourselves and coming up short on offers, I decided on the John Schuster Group. I'd heard many success stories about the John Schuster Group while listening to WCCO radio. I met Kieran, our John Schuster Group agent, at the home. Kieran walked us through all the options in preparing the home to be sold, handled all the details, created a stress-free and personal experience from the listing to the closing. This is what I told John Schuster when he called me. I said, John, the experience with you guys played out just like the advertisements I've heard. Cash offer, over the asking price, and just a quick transaction.
952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Jason DeRusha.
You are hitting on all cylinders today.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Textures are all over the place on this one, as you might expect. Is Minnesota too generous? I do think we'll ask our guest, newly announced Republican candidate for governor, Chris Madel, about this. He'll be joining us in about 10 minutes, because I do think this is a fundamental issue that should be discussed in the campaign. Texter says, I think we should be a state that helps the sick, disabled, and suffering, but not forget about the struggles of people trying to get somewhere. Another texter, Minnesota is robbing the middle class into poverty, paying for the welfare in this state. My wife and I make $150,000 a year, and it's impossible to afford living here. We're seriously looking into moving to South Dakota. Another texter, if we're such a generous state, why are people leaving? They said, we are being generous, but on the back of taxpayers. I think we are too generous. And I think it's going to be impossible to get fraud under control while continuing to expand programs. I think it just doesn't, from a logistical standpoint, it doesn't work out. And the Washington Post had a piece today. And the headline is, Tim Walz can't admit the downsides of too much welfare. And so when you look at the welfare, you're like, how much is it? Well, some of this we know about the autism funding. These autism centers grew by 700%. Funding increased by 3,000%. We're spending $6 million and then almost $200 million. And part of that is just the growth of these programs. And the fundamental point, writes the Post, a generous welfare budget means little when it doesn't truly help the most vulnerable. Spending large sums is not the point of welfare. It's to provide a safety net so no one starves or freezes. The hard truth is that making more money available for the poor also makes programs more prone to abuse. I think that's right. Let's go to Bill in New Hope. Bill, you're on CCO. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's not too much welfare. It's too much wealth in the hands of too few people, protecting and promoting excess wealth and privilege. We need to defund billionaires and multimillionaires. Nobody is smart enough or works hard enough to be a billionaire.
So how does that help the people who are poor, or the people who are struggling with housing or hunger or mental health or medical issues?
It helps them because that's where the money is. It's like the Willie Loman. He says, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is. Why should we defund billionaires? That's where the money is.
So, but are you arguing that we should be spending more on people who are poor?
Well, judiciously, yeah. Here's the problem. How large of a staff does our auditor have?
not large enough. And the job of the auditor mostly is to be like, I think, auditing to make sure counties and cities are doing their stuff right, I believe.
Well, how about a 9-member commission made up of 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and 3 nonpartisan people to double check who's guarding the guards? These people could do it. A 9-member commission to start this thing off, to sort of recheck the work of the auditors.
Yeah, I think 9 would be a good start. The Office of the State Auditor in Minnesota has 84 employees, according to a quick.
I will volunteer to be on
House.
that commission.
That's the House group. Yeah, I don't know how many it is.
I will volunteer to be on that commission.
All right. I like it. Keep Bill's number. I think unquestionably, we need more auditors. Unquestionably, we need more auditors. But I do think it's time for a conversation about what we really can't afford. Because costs can't just keep going up and up and up. People's salaries aren't going up and up and up. And I don't think you can lick fraud without also reducing the size of some of these things. We've seen already that 2 programs have been paused or eliminated, where they're saying we're just not going to take new applications because we can't ensure that this isn't fraud. I think that gives you an indication as to sort of what we need to do, which is pump the brakes. All right, let's break. In a minute, we have news on the governor's race in Minnesota. A new Republican has jumped in today. And Chris Madel jumped in already earlier. He's an attorney, and he'll join us in just a minute with his thoughts. We'll talk about all of this stuff and get his reaction to the MyPillow guy jumping in the race as well. Drive Time back in a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO. It's like wearing socks with sandals. Yeah, everybody laughs until their feet get cold. It's like having a paper map in the glove box, just in case. It's like the Mr. Coffee Maker you bought way back in 1984 that still brews a better pot than any app-controlled Wi-Fi smart latte machine. Now, we're not trying to be cool. We're trying to actually be useful, to be of service, to be your go-to for information and conversation every day, which honestly is pretty cool. News Talk 830 WCCO, the kind of cool you can count on.
This holiday season, when you get them STIHL, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit STIHLUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from STIHL. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Got some slowdowns for 694 eastbound as make way past 61 over to Highway 36. 694 is jammed up both directions between Lexington and Highway 252. If you're going to be traveling Highway 100, get ready for slowdowns both directions there as you make way between Highway 55 and Highway 62. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Government law, wills, trust, and probate law at governmentlaw.com, bringing us the weather forecast, which comes from our friend Chris Schaefer.
Tonight, we chill, falling all the way back to 5 below. Our first trip below zero this season. At least the wind will back off. Starting off with sunshine tomorrow, increasing clouds with a high in the mid-teens. It will be breezy again, so likely feeling like the single digits throughout the day. A few flurries possible on Friday, some more light snow possible on Saturday. Neither a big storm. It stays cool through the weekend.
Right now it is cool. It is 14 degrees and sunny in St. Paul on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's get right to Chris Madel. He is an attorney. He is a newly announced Republican candidate for governor. He's with us at the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Chris, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. But I got to tell you, your weather forecast is already depressing me.
I know. And it just gets worse based on what's been going on in the news over the last week. I don't know. It's not a joyous time here in Minnesota. That's for sure.
It isn't. But, I'm 58 years old. I've lived here my entire life, and I don't know what it is. But every time around this year when it falls off the cliff, I'm always like, why did it get cold so fast? And I do this to myself every year. And then in April, I'm walking around with the exact same temperatures and going, God, isn't it balmy?
Right.
It's just fantastic.
You should know better. You should know better.
I should. Yeah.
You grew up here, right?
I did. Waseca, Minnesota.
And now you're in Hennepin County. You've been in private practice, running your law firm. What would make you want to jump into this? You think about who wants to get into politics today. You've got your family's out of it. You don't have to deal with it. Did you worry about that? Do I really want to jump into that right now?
Well, on behalf of families, so I've represented a couple of high-profile people over my career, and I've had some death threats, and I've been very fortunate to have law enforcement very, very watching of my house. I remember one time my wife texted me a picture of a police car in our driveway and said, "Is there anything you want to tell me about?" And so, I've unfortunately kind of put them through this, but I really did talk to all of them beforehand, and everybody was very thumbs up on me running. And why am I doing this? It's kind of funny. I do have a lot of people saying, "Hey, congratulations for really supporting you." And I'm always asking, is congratulations the right word, or are you crazy is a better way of putting this? But for me, it's really, I've been kind of sitting and watching these problems develop here for years. And it just really got to a point where I just couldn't live with myself if I didn't stand up and try to fix these things, because it just seems like Einstein's definition of insanity. We're just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And nobody's really just stepping up in order to fix problems.
Two of the biggest stories in the country right now are centered right here on Minnesota. I want to ask you about both of them. First, today, right now, we have federal immigration agents here in Minneapolis and in St. Paul, and they are targeting Somalis who are here illegally. The president of the United States, in a cabinet meeting yesterday, called Somalis garbage, said he wanted them all out of the country. Do you agree with Donald Trump's view on Somalis and Somali Americans, that they should be sent back?
There's really kind of two aspects to that. There's first the immigration enforcement part of it. And when we're talking about immigration enforcement, and now we've got, the Minneapolis Police Department chief saying that we're not going to support immigration officers enforcing federal law, which when I stand back from that, every day, during the summer, when I would drive home under Louisiana Avenue going west on 394, there would be this sheet up there, "No kings," and we need to support the rule of law. But then when I kind of hear it from this end of things.
Do you really think that's what the chief was saying? We played his full soundbite at the start of our show today. That's not how I took that at all.
I do. And because frankly, I have the endorsement of the Minneapolis Police Federation, and I have spoken to a number of police that are saying that they are not permitted to support other immigration officers in the enforcement of federal law. And we are not living in a cafeteria plan when it comes to law in this country.
Oh, so you're referring to the sort of the sanctuary city policy.
Yeah, exactly. And that is as recently as yesterday. We want
That's not the chief's fault. I don't know why people are blaming the chief for that. That is the policy of the city of Minneapolis. It's the policy of St. Paul. Elected officials voted it in.
So you are excusing a police officer or chief from not following federal law. I mean, that to me, yes, it is. We are all obligated to follow the law, period. If we're really that interested in following the rule of law, it's not a cafeteria plan. You don't get to pick and choose which laws you want to follow. And I am a very, very big supporter of the rule of law. I've been practicing law here now for 32 years. I love the Constitution. But the remedy for if you have a problem with federal law is the ballot box, or it's to contact your politicians and get the law changed. It's not to go out there and say that we're going to get in the way of law enforcement executing on federal law. And that's exactly what the Minneapolis city government right now is doing, including the chief.
What do you think about the president saying that he wants all Somalis out of the country and that they're garbage?
I think when I hear that sentiment, and I always go back to the root problems of things. And when I see what has developed here, especially over the last 5 years, and I've read a lot of federal indictments, and there is a very real problem of fraud in the Somali community right now.
No question.
Nothing has been done on this. I mean, literally, the only people that have really done anything to attack fraud in the last 5 years in the Minnesota state government is the U.S. Attorney's Office and the media. And the media has been doing this through the Minnesota Data Practices Act. And this is one thing where I really fault Republicans just as well for it, because they have done nothing with respect to exposing fraud, even at the legislative level. So what happens, and sorry, there's a long way of kind of getting to the answer to your question, but what happens then is that you have a state government that's failing to investigate, they're failing to reveal, they're failing to litigate, they're failing to prosecute this mess. The governor has really kind of permitted this problem to fester and explode into the chaos that it's become. And now he's permitted a wide variety of people to paint an entire community with a broad brush, which I think is admittedly, it's unfair. But when you have the Somali, community right now, and I remember it was an article, it was last summer, I think it was July or August, but it was a former investigator for the Minnesota Attorney General's office who was a Somalian, wrote an article in the Reformer talking about the Somali fraud problem and identifying that this is a very real problem. We can make this better by revealing it and doing something about it, as opposed to everybody just sitting around and, pardon my French, but just bitching about it all the time. Do something about this problem, which can start to actually reveal it, litigate it, prosecute it, get it in our rearview mirror so we can actually get to the real business of the state.
I mean, obviously, you don't want to send American citizens of Somali descent back to their country.
It depends. If they are here illegally,
well, I said American
number
citizens,
one.
So American
citizens.
Yeah.
Well, they're. I
mean, I have friends who are born here in America who live in Minneapolis who are Somali, and it's like they have to carry their passport around with them right now because of fear that they're going to get swept up.
I believe that have always been a nation of immigrants, and this is where our country began, and this is where our country, should continue to invite in immigrants lawfully in order to be in this country and work here lawfully. Now, I don't want anybody being afraid walking down the street because of their ethnicity or their race or their gender or creed, what have you. And nobody does. No American really wants that. But at the same time, we need to confront problems that have not been confronted in our state for years. And that's why we're embarrassingly in national news on this over and over again. It's not just feeding our future. It's not just autism. It's literally gone to housing. It's gone to every aspect of the state government right now. And it just has to stop. And when I hear over and over again, all people ever do about it is just complain. And again, I see those two groups actually doing something about it. I see the U.S. Attorney's Office with them, the FBI and the postal inspectors, IRS, et cetera. and the media, and that's it. Those are the only two entities that are really combating anything about fraud. That is a sorry state of affairs with respect to Minnesota state politics.
What does Chris Madel do as governor that would be action that would prevent this? What would the first two things that you would do be?
Number one, I've had 30 plus years of attacking fraud. I mean, you're talking to somebody, I've got $186 million RICO, Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations Act judgment. I was selected in order to investigate fraud of the Fiesta Bowl down among national firms. I found a in-house employee at Best Buy that was taking kickbacks that ultimately did 7 years. The vendor did 15 years. I know how to actually lead teams and put people together in order to investigate fraud. I also know the best people in the state that know how to do this. And I am going to obviously be taking a pay cut in order to do this job. I have spoken to a number of my friends that are obviously supporting my campaign, and I've told them, hey, listen, I win, you're coming with me. And all of them would have agreed. So day one, we're going to put in a team of people that actually know how to investigate fraud, reveal it, litigate, and prosecute it. And right now, I mean, one of the things I put in my launch video was this DHS Inspector General of Under Walls, who in October of 25 said that we are now going to require people to actually prove that they provided legitimate services before we pay them. They're saying this in October 2025. And I mean, you tell me, have you ever done something on your house where you're just going to, pay somebody all up front and hope that they pay your deck? I mean, it is literally insanity that we're hearing this in October 2025. And why both parties are not all over this and why they're not investigating this since the first thing came out is an absolute mystery to me. And I'm literally at wit's end when I hear this, because I'm asking myself, what in the hell are our taxes being paid for? Why are we paying these people to do this when, frankly, the only people that are actually combating this are the federal government and the media?
Chris Madel is with us. He is a Republican candidate for governor. You are taking heat from some Republicans because you have a history of donating to Republican candidates and Democrat candidates. You explained in your announcement news conference sort of that you don't apologize for that. And I think there was a time that this was just like a normal thing that businesses do. But I do want to zero in on a donation you made to Governor Tim Walz, because it was in 2021. It was the peak of COVID. It was a huge flashpoint with Republicans who were furious at the Governor Walz's sort of crackdowns and lockdowns during COVID. If you are truly a Republican, why would you make a donation to Tim Walz at that moment?
Again, zero apologies for this whatsoever. I am a lawyer and I represent clients that have a variety of problems with state and federal governments, as well as litigation elsewhere. I'm also one of the panel attorneys on the Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association, who also has given to a variety of Republicans and Democrats. You create these sorts of contributions. You make these sorts of contributions in order to keep bridges out there. With respect to Walz in particular, look at that one. That one in particular led me to be able to create a bridge to his office so he would threaten to take away the charges against Trooper Ryan Londrigan, who was my client, charged with murder, manslaughter, and first-degree felony assault, who was a hero, and he was charged, frankly, for being a hero. And the only reason that those charges were dismissed, in my view, is because I kept those bridges open. If I was a Tucker Carlson sort of right-wing, kind of crazy, right-wing lawyer screaming about how much Tim Walz sucks on every damn day, Ryan Londrigan would have had to go to trial. And I work the system. I know the system, and I know what to do with respect to the system. If you think I have apologies for being as successful as I have with clients on this, I don't care. I really don't, because I'm looking at a young officer with his young wife. They're just about to have another baby here in December. Couldn't be prouder about it. And frankly, if Republicans, frankly, it's just a small minority of Republicans that, as I've come out, that are saying this stuff. Frankly, they're kind of put up by my opponents. People understand this. They get it. And they also understand that I'm a lawyer, which in and of itself is a bipartisan position. So to me, it's nonsense. It's another way of trying to bitch about somebody's success.
I mean, the Democrats are painting you as a guy who built his career defending fraudsters, rapists, and pedophiles. So you're getting it from both sides.
Yeah. Well,
are you too much of a butt kisser to Tim Walz, or are you a pedophile defender?
Oh, I'm still trying to figure out.
Why did you run again? What were you thinking?
I'm still trying to figure out again who this pedophile is that I represented, because I don't even know who the hell that is. But I mean,
go back through there's a good chance. I mean, you've been an attorney for a long time. There's a good chance.
That's all fair. But honestly, I don't represent people with child sex cases, and I just haven't done that in as a course of my career. But here again, you're kind of getting back to kind of the core of the issue when you've got President Reagan and President Trump, who also gave to both parties and did business like that. There's a long tradition of this that's happened out there. But frankly, I couldn't be much prouder that I've got some of my Republican candidates yelling at me for my contributions. Now I've got Democrats yelling at me about my contributions and my cases. This just shows everybody's real worried about my candidacy. That's all this shows. And frankly, to be honest, they should be, because I really feel like I am communicating better with Minnesotans about issues that actually matter to Minnesotans, as opposed to a lot of the nonsense that these far wings on both parties love to concentrate on.
Chris Madel is with us. You mentioned the Ryan Londegren efforts and the defense you had for him, which that was just an outrageous prosecution in my view. But,
thank you.
Derek Chauvin is in the news again, seeking a new trial, and you've represented law enforcement in a number of different things. When you are governor, if you become governor of Minnesota, would you consider pardoning Derek Chauvin on the state charges that he was convicted of?
So this to me is an issue where, as a candidate for governor, I'm sitting here looking right now that there's a collateral attack on Chauvin's conviction today. A lot of the evidence that they're using with respect to that collateral attack was evidence that I generated in my defense of Liz Collin and Alpha News on their defamation case, which we beat. I find it, I really am a huge supporter and believer in our American judicial system. I really criticized Walz at the time for coming out against Chauvin and the other officers and more or less prejudging their convictions out there in front of where the jury determination. I think that that's really inappropriate for the political process. I feel like that political process should be left alone, and it should be left out of the courts, and people running for office shouldn't be doing this. Chauvin deserves his day in court, and I think that a pardon in particular should not be politicized as a constitutional power. It has to remain impartial, and it's fact-driven once somebody gets into office. And so I feel pretty strongly about that. And I also, I will add that I did, when I was working with the MPPOA, I did file a brief in the Supreme Court regarding Chauvin's trial and the pretrial publicity with respect to that. I do feel extremely strongly that Derek Chauvin's trial that he received downtown Minneapolis in a military fortress was unfair. And I would feel that about literally any American citizen that had to endure something like that. And I feel that we're better than that. And I feel that there should have been another venue that he could have gone to. I also feel that he would have been convicted any place in Minnesota around that time.
Probably in America. I mean, the publicity was.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that that's true.
No,
but
I think those concerns
County,
are valid also.
Yeah. And the same.
It's not how you'd ever want to sketch it out. You'd never want to do it this way, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You or I would never. I always ask people that are really kind of very pro that conviction. Would you want that for any member of your family? Would you want that for any
those particular circumstances?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and I understand it's unique, but those are exactly the sorts of situations that we're judged by internationally and that we do in
Chris, we gotta go. We're up against the clock, but we'll do this again as this process moves on. I really enjoyed the conversation.
I love talking to you too, but one of your ex people that wanted to ask me about General Cornwallis, and I would love to answer that question sometime. So,
indeed, very good, very good. Chris Madel, candidate for governor. Thanks, Chris. Back in just a minute on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Why not Livia? Why not do it now? It's Jason here for my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. Now is the time to jumpstart your road to a better you. I've been with Livia for 3 years now. I lost 45 pounds. Took me about 5 months. And I hit my goal on Christmas Day 3 years ago. Every day somebody comes up to me and is like, man, Jason, you look great. You look great. And it's all thanks to Livia. No way I could have done it myself. Livia.com, 855-GO-LIVIA. Here is the deal right now. Holiday savings are in effect at this moment. New year, new you, new level of care. GLP-1 programs from Livia as low as $99. Don't think you're going to save money by going to some no-name website and doing it yourself. Do it with Livia. Incredible people, incredible support. Losing the weight is just the first part of the process. Keeping it off is where Livia gets you there. 855-GO-LIVIA or visit Livia.com.
Owning a big home is a lot of work. It might have been worth it when your family was younger, but if your kids had moved out, you probably thought about downsizing to a home that would take way less maintenance. It's Vanita here. If you want to sell it fast and for the most money possible, hire my buddy, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster. Catherine hired the John Schuster Group with Coldwell Banker Realty to sell her home. She interviewed a few agents. John's experience really stood out to her. So did that marketing system of his that I always tell you about. It reaches thousands of potential home buyers every single day. When you hire John, you never have to worry about being that neighbor who tries and fails to sell their home for months on end. Catherine definitely wasn't that neighbor. Her home got 4 offers in 4 days. Curious what your home is worth? Find out in seconds on johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. 694 westbound Matterhorn Drive. You're going to find a crash off to the right side. Traffic is slow already to come in from Lexington over to 252. 694 eastbound, jam ups in place, 35E to Highway 36. And West 94, speeds dipping below the posted as you make way past Snelling all the way into Minneapolis. If you've inherited valuable coins, gold, silver, or jewelry, where do you turn? American Rare Coin Collectibles. For over 30 years, American Rare Coin has been purchasing valuable coin and precious metal collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. American Rare Coin and Collectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Tonight, mainly clear. We're going to be so cold, 5 below. Tomorrow, the high is 16. Friday, we get up to 28. Right now, it's 14 degrees. CBS and local news straight ahead on CCO.
Winter is coming, and I'm talking about the chilly housing market. If you need to sell a house now, know that more people are saying no to listing on the ice cold open market and yes to my red hot guaranteed cash offer program. Get your guaranteed cash offer today at chrislindahl.com.
Washburn McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
The holidays will be here soon.
And whether you've been coming to Feel and Meats of Peers for generations
or looking to start a new family tradition,
you'll want to put us on your holiday wish list.
We're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
We add those melt-in-your-mouth moments to your holiday celebration.
High-quality meats that keep our customers coming back for more.
That's why we've become a holiday tradition for so many folks.
No meal's complete without Feel and Meats
of Peers.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Keeping you in the know and in the conversation. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live via the Odyssey and iHeartRadio apps.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. In a report to Congress, the Pentagon's internal watchdog says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's signal chat, including details on military action in Yemen, violated regulations. Senator Mark Kelly.
All this demonstrates that he is unqualified for this job.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe with the details.
The Inspector General report concludes that Secretary Hegseth jeopardized sensitive military information and could have endangered American service members when he shared those details in that signal chat with a handful of senior administration officials and one journalist, of course, with the Atlantic magazine. The other thing that this report reveals, among other things, is that the Secretary himself was not terribly cooperative, only shared a handful of his signal messages with the Inspector General, and otherwise they had to basically copy and paste the ones that the Atlantic magazine had published itself as evidence.
Hegseth is also under scrutiny for a second strike on a suspected drug boat with survivors on board. That was back in September, and he says an admiral ordered it. That admiral will brief lawmakers tomorrow. CBS's Caitlin Huey Burns.
He's the person that everybody up here on Capitol Hill wants to hear from because of the way the administration is essentially pointing the fingers at him at this point.
An immigration enforcement surge is now underway in New Orleans, and Minneapolis is bracing for action there against the Somali community. President Trump continued his verbal attacks today.
The Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with, go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution.
The Associated Press is reporting a top Ukrainian negotiator will meet in Miami tomorrow with aides to President Trump. It comes after the meeting yesterday with Russia's president. CBS's Ramy Inocencio is following.
As for what happened in Moscow, everyone's wondering, right? And the details are not clear. But what we do know is that the territorial issue is the number one issue, whether you ask Moscow or whether you ask Kyiv.
One of the doctors who sold ketamine to Friend Star meth Matthew Perry before his overdose death has been sentenced. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
Instead of getting a 40-year possible maximum sentence, Dr. Placencia got 2.5 years in prison after he pled guilty to 4 counts of distributing the drug of ketamine.
He admitted to selling ketamine to Perry, knowing he was a struggling addict. On Wall Street today, stocks finished higher. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
A few clouds and 11 degrees now at 5:03. I'm Susie Jones. Somali Americans living in Minnesota say they are not going anywhere. This as the threat of ice raids hangs in the air at a meeting in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis, which is home to thousands of Somali. State and local lawmakers talked about the injustice and preparing for a federal operation. Jailani Hussein is executive director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, Minnesota.
Somali American community being targeted in this manner is dangerous.
One of the residents at the meeting, Binto Ali, says it's all been very scary and confusing.
I've been here since 1994. I was only 3 years old when I came, and this is my home, and this has got to stop.
Somali leaders say they have started to see some people taken into custody and have also seen an increase in the number of threats made to those in the community. Earlier today, hundreds of people protested outside Signature Airlines, speaking against ICE deportation flights.
Greg Naumacher, SEIU Local 26 president, led a protest at Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport against Signature Airlines, claiming the company is contracted by ICE.
Our understanding is that they are contracted by ICE and by the federal government to take detainees to other facilities around the country once they are detained here in the Twin Cities.
Protesters say that Signature Airlines is profiting off deportations, and they're demanding that the Metropolitan Airports Commission part ways with the company to stop the use of tax dollars for these operations. At MSP Airport, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell sharing his thoughts on the struggles facing the team.
With 2 struggling young quarterbacks, the team's offensive production is nothing like we're used to seeing. During Minnesota's 4-game losing streak, J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer have combined to throw 10 interceptions. Head coach Kevin O'Connell says the team has to stop doing things to lose games and start doing things to win them.
Obviously, our pass game has never really existed in a place where it wasn't a top 10 caliber, in the league kind of pass game. We're not that right now in any way, shape, or form. Our execution, our ability to pitch and catch, our protection, what do we need to do to make sure that the collective group is successful, can sustain momentum, and hopefully stack positive plays.
Vikings Commanders Sunday. Kickoff is at noon at U.S. Bank Stadium. Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mike Lindell is throwing his hat into the ring into the Minnesota gubernatorial race. The My Pillow pitchman filed the paperwork with the Secretary of State's office, running as a Republican. He is a well-known supporter of President Trump, also running Republican House Speaker Lisa Dameth, State Representative Kristen Robbins, Dr. Scott Jensen, Kendall Qualls, and attorney Chris Madel for a spot on the party ticket. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
I don't want to say it wrong, and I have it written correctly. Right side. The slowdown's back at Highway 10. Driving along 494 northbound, get ready for your slow traffic to start up as you make it past Highway 7 all the way up to the Fish Lake Interchange. Southbound 35W slows in Minneapolis and past University. Over on the East Metro, you'll find 694 northbound jammed up to 94 and 15th Street. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days. with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Eagan, the Twin Cities catering leader. Find them at dickeys.com. Here's WCCO TV. Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer with the forecast.
Bundle up, baby. We're taking our first trip below zero tonight. Mainly clear sky will bottom out around 5 below, feeling more like 15 to 20 below with a little bit of wind. Clouds will increase tomorrow, almost the opposite of today. 16 the afternoon high. It will be breezy again. A few flurries on Friday. It stays cool into the weekend.
All right, right now, a few clouds and 11 degrees at Newstalk 830 WCCO.
From Lake Street to Lake Superior, we are Minnesota. We are News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
All right, Drive Time with DeRusha. In effect, hour 3. So glad to have you with us, whether you're listening on the radio, streaming us on your smart speaker, or your, I don't know, whatever you're streaming us with. None of my damn business.
Now shut up and drive.
We're on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. We're everywhere. You can't escape us. You can't escape us. And that's how we like it. In this hour, we've got the DRush Hour News headlines, including an in-depth conversation about what the future in downtown St. Paul is going to be. Unrelated, for sure, to the fact that I currently live in an apartment in downtown St. Paul. Don't expect oh man, there's a lot more downtown St. Paul talk on CCO. What's going on? Vanita was there first. I just want to have it on the record. I just so everybody knows, Vanita owned St. Paul before I moved my sorry self into some apartment. So anything that might be new to me, she knew already. Just assume it. It's her town. I'm just living in it. That's sort of my approach on this. Enough, unrelated. Enough is coming up in 30 minutes. If there's something you have had enough of, send us a voice message. You don't have to wait. Send us a voice message using the Odyssey app, right where you listen live to WCCO. There's a little microphone right next to it. Click the microphone, record your message, send it off, and Dan gets it. Your chance to bellyache about preferably something stupid. That's what we prefer. The more petty your complaint, the more we enjoy it. Let's get you up to date on the latest news. Minnesota in the center of the national attention. That's where we start the DRush Hour News headline.
The headlines you might have missed without missing a beat. This is your fast pass through the biggest and most impactful stories of the day. Welcome to the DeRush Hour headlines, starting with the lead.
And the lead story is the immigration crackdown, illegal immigration crackdown we're seeing all around the country. New Orleans right now is where federal agents are. And so there have been reports. We've heard reports about ICE agents inside Carmel Mall. Minnesota Star Tribune reporting that the shift is unmistakable, that foot traffic yesterday had slowed, shoppers cutting their visit short. The president, for his part, the rhetoric has certainly not backed down at all.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay?
That was the president after, this is amazing. And horrifying, I think, no matter how much you are concerned about fraud, no matter how much you are concerned about crime, to have the president of the United States referring to a single ethnic group and saying he wants them out of the country. Explain that to the 24-year-old Minneapolis woman who was born here is building a business, is making a great life and trying to make our community great. And tonight is walking around with her passport because she is afraid that ICE agents are going to indiscriminately sweep her up. We can do something as a society about people who are making trouble and shouldn't be here. But to allow this sort of, man, it's like your crazy grandpa at the dinner table is belly aching about black people. And this is the president of the United States. I just still, like, I am still, each time I hear it, I am astonished. He was asked today about the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, saying that he's proud to have the largest Somali community in the country. And the president says then he's a fool. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They have destroyed Minnesota, said the president. Let's talk about something serious but less like, ugh. Today, a number of seniors gathered outside Blue Cross Blue Shield in Eagan because they're upset that they are losing a major gym benefit. This is a change in health benefits that sometimes we get affected with, like a prescription drug that comes off our program. There are thousands of seniors in Minnesota that get a silver sneakers benefit through the health insurance provider, and they're allowed to go to the YMCA in the Twin Cities. Blue Cross Blue Shield informed 26,000 seniors that they and a third-party administrator, these fitness benefits would no longer cover the cost of gym membership at YMCA of the North and Lifetime Fitness locations throughout the Twin Cities. Only Y's in the state excluded. Terrell Benton is the Senior Vice President of Operations for YMCA of the North. He joins us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotlines. Terrell, thanks for being with us. Explain what's
correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's only the YMCA of the North, which includes, our however many counties, 6 county metro area YMCAs. We've got, YMCAs throughout the balance of the state that are unaffected.
So what do you think is going on? Why is the cost structure that different in YMCA of the North versus the rest of the state?
It's interesting. The way that these third-party agreements work is we really aren't privy to what the other cost structures and rates are. And quite honestly, from our perspective, it's not our business, right? Our intent is to serve our community. And so we engage and we negotiate with the third party Tivity. Those negotiations seemingly went well back in 2024. We were given no real reason to believe that there was any fears or trepidations around how those negotiations were affecting their business. And so, it was, for us, business as usual. We were making plans for 2026 to be able to serve and support these senior members. And then, late November rolls around and we get notice that that's changing. And that was a really difficult thing for us to have to swallow.
What do you do in this case, right? Like, some seniors are probably not going to be able to afford anything out of pocket, but some might be able to pay. Are you discounting your regular rate? What are you doing to these Silver Sneakers members who really want to be a part of the YMCA of the North of your facility?
I love that question. So we're doing a couple things. Yes, we are offering a discounted membership option to those who are affected. So we're offering that at $49 for a single and $89 for a dual. Our traditional rate structure is $77, so it's a significant deviation from that. The other thing that we're doing, engaged in an appeal to hopefully raise additional money that would subsidize for those who cannot afford to come out of pocket at all, would subsidize their membership. So for anyone who's interested in figuring out how to support those seniors, you can certainly go to our website to find ways to give, and in giving, you can allocate that to a senior that's being affected.
What's different about the way the YMCA serves this community?
Yeah. If you were to walk into any one of our YMCAs at around 10 o'clock in the morning, what you're likely to find is a community of seniors who've just taken a water aerobics class or just taken a Silver Sneakers chair yoga class. And they're sitting around and they're abating the loneliness epidemic that we're all experiencing, but that they're disproportionately affected by. They are drinking coffee. They're talking about stories of their childhood. They are deepening the bonds that connect them. That's what makes us different. That's what you're not going to experience when you walk into a more traditional health and wellness facility. Now, those health and wellness facilities 100% serve a really, really vital purpose in our community. But the things that you experience as a senior NRY does vary and differ significantly.
Terrell Benton, the Senior Vice President of Operations for YMCA of the North. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as well.
One more story in the lead, and this is also sort of fitness related. It is maybe a surprising issue that has the Burnsville mayor and some city council members at odds. Pickleball is, I think, in the suburbs right now, the number one issue that gets people fired up is pickleball. It's the noise. It's everything. There's a controversial plan in Burnsville to build a Topgolf style driving range and pickleball courts on an old dump. And the mayor, Elizabeth Couts, voted to deny a bunch of the permits for this, saying that she is worried about the watershed, that developing on this dump close to the river is bad for the watershed. Now, a couple city council members are saying, like, give me a break. This construction is better than having the dump. And at the same time, you got the pollution control people who are in the middle of a review, and they are saying there are two options to clean it up. First, you got to excavate waste from the dump and haul it to another landfill. And another these are hundreds of millions of dollars to solve these problems. So what will happen? Who knows? But that is the latest pickleball tea in Burnsville. Let's break in just a minute. We are going to talk about downtown St. Paul. Right now is sort of go time in downtown St. Paul. You've got holiday festivals. You've got holiday market, beautiful Christmas lights. But St. Paul also has struggled. City workers not coming back, perception that crime is a problem, reality that safety is a concern. So what are they doing? Well, some news today. We'll talk with Joe Spencer from the Downtown Alliance in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, it's Jason here for my friends Tureen Dermatology. I just today went to the website, TureenDermatology.com, and made an appointment for Seth when Seth is back in town, because all of us in the DeRusha family go to see Dr. Mohiba Tureen. And in fact, my sister-in-law goes, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, everybody goes to Tureen Dermatology because the care is top-notch. Now, they've got a lot of fun stuff going on this month. And so the December of dermatology, that's what's going on there. And time is running out for this Generations of Glow event. That is going to be Thursday, December 13th. So it's an awesome opportunity for moms, daughters, and friends to hang out together at Tureen Dermatology. And you'll have skincare education. This is going to be so fun. This would be a great gift. Skincare education, raffles, early access to specials. So go to TureenDermatology.com. Get your ticket. It's for Thursday in Roseville. Roseville, just one of the 10 locations Tureen Dermatology has. You can do what I did. Go to the website and request an appointment. Super easy, and appointments are available within 3 weeks. So use that kind of health spending money before the year is out. The website is Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
MGM Wine and Spirits is the choice for savings, service, and a great selection of ice-cold beer, liquor, wine, alternative, and non-alcoholic beverages. With over 25 locations throughout the Twin Cities and beyond, there is an MGM near you. Head to mgmwineandspirits.com to find a convenient location near you. Follow MGM on social media for updates on amazing sales throughout the year. Make great moments with MGM Wine and Spirits, your locally owned and operated choice for over 50 years. Save time, save money. Shop MGM.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
Yes.
Right, because that's the appropriate reaction. You should be laughing.
Yep.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
City of St. Paul. I was there last night for the Taste of St. Paul that was put on by the tourism group Visit St. Paul. And you feel the holiday magic. You feel the holiday joy in downtown St. Paul. Rice Park with all of the lights. So much going on, whether it's the Orbway or the Grand Casino Arena or the Glow Lights Festival, all of this stuff going on in downtown St. Paul. But how do you make downtown alive? It's been a long time struggle in the city of St. Paul, exacerbated by the fact that the state, the county, sort of abandoned this capital city when it comes to having workers back in the office. So what is the future of downtown St. Paul? There's a new effort underway, just launched today. And that's why we bring in Joe Spencer, the president of the Downtown Alliance in St. Paul. He's on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Joe?
So first of all, I want to go back and you referenced St. Paul days and you talked about the Ordway and Rice Park and the lights and all that, but I don't want you to skip past the Glow Festival down at CHS Field, the European Christmas Market, the Christmas train, everything that happens.
Big
throughout
tree lighting this weekend at
absolutely.
Union Depot.
We own the Christmas season here in downtown St. Paul, and we were thrilled for everybody to come out to that event last night. We're always thrilled when you're going to come out to shows at the Ordway. All the people who come to the Glow Festival, we track data for, it's basically anonymized cell phone data. And when you see the impact that Glow Festival has, the European Christmas Market has, these crowds are huge, and they're all having a great time in downtown. So we're thrilled for it.
So how do you carry that momentum forward then into a downtown of the future?
So here's our situation. Actually, is like there's a lot. You talk about the mess and the troubles and the challenges we've had these past few years. I think it's important, first of all, to clearly identify the problem or the challenge. And when we think about that, the area around Rice Park is doing great. The visitor attractions are doing great, and I know you can attest to that.
You're welcome. Just me moving there. What a change in the neighborhood.
You know what? And I know that you're bringing people in by the dozens with your social life. You're lighting things up single-handedly.
No, but it is like any downtown. There are zones where things are great, right? Sort of
exactly.
North Loop in Minneapolis, Rice Park in St. Paul. Things are great.
Yep. Mears Park, Lower Town is doing pretty well. Pretty strong fundamentals down there. Full apartment buildings. Really, really good. The challenge has been in that core area, right around Central Station. Sometimes people call it the donut hole. Chris Coleman, I worked for Chris for 12 years. People would, he would refer sometimes to downtown St. Paul as two of the best downtowns in America, separated by one of the worst downtowns in America.
Yeah.
So this challenge isn't new, but what we're doing right now is we're seeing that's where some of these most distressed properties are. That's where the Alliance Bank building is. That's where the U.S. Bank building is. You got some boarded up buildings there. And this is our moment for transformation. It's hard for a place to transform when things are limping along, but a moment like this really gives us a tremendous opportunity. And so that's what we're leaning into. We're going out with this engagement process, asking people to help us reimagine the core of downtown St. Paul.
So what are some of the things that this engagement will focus on? What are the questions that you're really going to be asking people?
We're going to be asking folks like, what are they looking for? What are their priorities? What are the great urban spaces, not necessarily in St. Paul, that you've been to, and describe those for us? Do we want to have an emphasis on a vibrant street level retail? Or do we want to have an emphasis on park space? Or, what are the kind of priorities and what should we be looking for as we look to redevelop some of these key buildings in this targeted catalytic zone?
Are there things already that in your conversations with your members, with people in St. Paul, are there a couple of bullet points where you're like, all right, this is sort of where I see some of the focus will be?
Yeah, we know, for example, we want to dramatically increase the population in downtown St. Paul, and we know we want to introduce a mix of users into an area of the downtown that has historically been exclusively for office workers. So we know that's going to be a part of the conversation. We also know that we want to fundamentally put a greater emphasis on the pedestrian experience. Imagine you have a guest come to visit you, Jason. They're staying at the St. Paul Hotel. They come out into beautiful Rice Park. Where's their next move? Where are they going to stroll to next? How do we make sure that they don't just enjoy Rice Park, but that they go on to see Osborne Plaza and the Farmers Market and Mears Park and CHS Field? We have a lot of great assets in downtown St. Paul, but we've not done a very good job of connecting those assets on those key connecting corridors.
Yeah, it's not great, right? From Rice Park, if you're headed down, if you're going from the Ordway to CHS, it feels very concrete-y,
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's the thing we want to address. That also, by the way, is our opportunity. We're not starting from scratch, and we're not trying to boil the ocean. We're focused on a really pretty small piece of geography that we feel when we transform it will create this connection between these two strong parts of downtown that we've talked about.
All of it will start with this information gathering phase, but you got to promise me this isn't just going to be another one of these we've gathered all this. We do so much information gathering and then not enough action. This will be action, right?
I'm so glad that you brought that up. We've been somewhat reluctant to enter into this until we felt more confident that we could really deliver something real. I don't know if you've seen in the news, but our Downtown Development Corporation, we've actually taken ownership of 2 of these boarded up buildings in downtown St. Paul. We're really poised to not just talk about it, but to really take action and really create meaningful impact as a result of this information we're gathering.
I'm cheering for it, of course, personal interest, but we all love St. Paul, and we need to crack that code. We need to crack that code. Joe Spencer, president of the St. Paul Downtown Alliance. Appreciate it, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much.
Enough is minutes away. One of our favorite things to do every week is get your chance to vent about whatever you want to vent about. 651-461-9226. You can call, you can text, you can send us a voice message on the Odyssey app. There has been a lot to react to this week, that's for sure. From the Minnesota Vikings, wonderful game last Sunday. Maybe you've had enough of quarterback training school. Maybe you've had, I don't know. It's up to you. 651-461-9226. Drive Time back in just a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Pisses me off. Unsolicited. As I talked about, we talked about his tweet.
OpenAI is hiring dozens of former investment bankers to help train its AI systems in financial management. Bloomberg reports that the ChatGPT creator has added more than 100 finance professionals from JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley to help train AI models to automate work performed by junior bankers, teaching the AI models about IPOs and corporate restructurings. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people with chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aids that don't solve your problem or sledgehammer solutions like surgery. Our unique Advent approach can, with a 20-minute in-office procedure, open your blocked nose for good. Outside of Advent, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here, in-office solutions can help you stop the Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventnose.com to schedule your appointment. Most insurance accepted.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
694 westbound past 35W, crash left shoulder. Things are slow as you come in from Lexington Avenue yet. Traveling 35W northbound, get ready for your slowdowns past 50th Street, heading up into downtown Minneapolis. East 94, slow ride continues, has been most of the afternoon as you make the run between, right now it's Riverside into downtown St. Paul. Joey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, forecast time. It's cold, man. It was cold this morning. It's going to be even colder tomorrow morning. Here's for Schaefer.
Tonight, we chill, falling all the way back to 5 below. Our first trip below zero this season. At least the wind will back off. Starting off with sunshine tomorrow, increasing clouds with a high in the mid-teens. It will be breezy again, so likely feeling like the single digits throughout the day. A few flurries possible on Friday, some more light snow possible on Saturday. Neither a big storm. It stays cool through the weekend.
It's cold. It's cold. It is 13 degrees here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I have had enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough.
Oh, it is your chance at 651-461-9226. What have you had enough of? Weather? Plenty to talk about with the weather. Politics? It's been kind of a slow week here in Minnesota. You probably don't have much to vent about there. Dan and I are ready, as always, with our own complaints to help get you started.
And we even had a caller call in a little bit ago. She couldn't
hang on the whole bit.
She couldn't hang on for 15 minutes. So, which,
that's fine.
Don't blame her a bit for that.
Yeah.
But her enough was, why in the year of our Lord 2025 do I have to call my dentist back to confirm an appointment? Why is this still happening?
She has to call back.
I guess what she said.
I've sort of had enough in general with dentists.
Well, I mean, my dentist aside, who is a wonderful human being who I admire greatly.
I feel like your dentist should have to buy ad time on this station.
I don't know why you would say that.
He's Chad's dentist.
Fantastic human being. Does great work.
Here's my issue with dentists. Because every other medical appointment, you're able to call up and get an appointment. And with the dentist, Seth has a dental appointment that was made 6 months ago because that's what happened.
Right. You do semi-annually.
And so his appointment is on a Monday. And I think we're not going to be back from Chicago yet in that time. And so.
But there's no tweaking that appointment.
Yeah. They act like you have signed a 50-year mortgage with them when you've booked an appointment. What, you can't make it? It's like, aren't people canceling all the time? Aren't they sick? Can't you?
Not at this point, because they're so hard to get an appointment that it's like gold once you get it. You can't cancel.
It is hard. It's ridiculous. I am up now that I live in St. Paul. Wait,
you live in St. Paul?
I need a new dentist.
You haven't mentioned that.
This is going to be my whole personality for a bit. St. Paul guy. I went to a dive bar. Oh, enough.
Yes.
Enough.
Yes. Enough.
Me losing my train of thought.
Yes.
How about enough of that? 651.
I've had enough of Jason talking about
9226. That's fine. What if
you want to know what my enough is?
Let's hear
it. And you teased it earlier, even though you didn't know that this was going to be my enough. I've had enough of the cold already.
Already? You're done already?
This is brutal. I hate this. This is terrible. And mostly why I'm so annoyed is because I'm the ding dong that decided to take a retreat weekend this coming weekend up north in Minnesota when it's going to be freezing here.
Yeah,
it's going to be even worse up there.
Who could have predicted that? Who could have possibly imagined?
In December, sometimes it's warm in December.
I mean, isn't this wholly a you problem?
Well, I thought that's how we did it on this show.
I guess. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I've had enough.
I understand that, actually. We had Chris Madel on, who's running for governor, Republican, who said sort of the same thing, that he knows that it's going to be cold, and he does not know why he acts so surprised when it happens. Now, I mean, it's going to be 29 on Friday. It's going to be cold for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. That's the old Dark Star line. It's going to be cold till April.
That's about right. Let's go to Dan and Hopkins. Dan, what have you had enough of?
Tim Walz. Right? Can he go on national TV and not assume any responsibility for anything but deflect everything to other people?
That was pretty remarkable. I have yet, and I understand we're in this world that if you ever admit that you screwed something up, it now is used in attack ads against you from here until the day you die. Which is a shame, because I do think it would be very helpful if he would just say, we screwed this up.
Is it true that may even reach in the billions of dollars with SNAP and other things? And then now we have the paid family leave, in Minnesota. It's more handouts, and who's paying it? It's the hardworking guy like me. I mean, there's guys that work harder than I do, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So my question, Dan, is, is there someone as an alternative that kind of intrigues you, someone who's stepping up? Because part of the problem, I think, for Republicans in this state is that the candidates who have come forward, people are like, I have my issues with the current administration, but I certainly don't want these people in office.
Do they ever articulate why specifically? I mean, wouldn't any Republican give the Republicans a chance?
Yeah.
The Democrats have run the state down the toilet for so many years. Give us a chance. We can't do any worse. I mean, Kendall Qualls, perhaps, I just think there needs to be a realignment. All of government, it's just so much fraud. I mean, there's nothing they can campaign upon, the Democrats.
Yeah.
So
do you think Walz will actually run?
run?
I sort of, my current, if I were doing betting odds, I would say even odds that he's out. I wonder if he'll end up backing out and they put somebody
I don't
else
know.
on. Pull a Biden.
He should resign. I mean, people have resigned for less. So
governors have resigned for less. I don't know about
well,
that.
I don't know. I mean, look at what
like we knew all
Al
this.
Al Franken. Al Franken had one photograph that was unseemly.
Well, you can't. No butt grabs. No butt grabs. This is what we crack down as a society.
Okay.
But you can preside over fraud for 4 years. And right now, if the election were held today, Dan, thank you for your enough. I think Tim Walz would win. Just the demographics of the state are such that I think Tim Walz would win.
Well, we said it 1,000 times that it's all about, who you're running against. Right.
Yes,
and that isn't
always
determined. Dan wants a Republican to get a shot at the gubernatorial race. Look, I'll tell you exactly how a Republican can win this governor's race. Every question turns back to fraud. Knock off the culture war crap and just focus on the fraud, focus on the financial, focus on those policies, and a Republican will win, I think, fairly easily. But it's the bringing in all of the crazy along with the conservative policies. That's why they keep losing. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, but there's a base that they keep trying to satisfy that longs for the crazy, and that's why they don't win.
Texters, with your enough. I've had enough of people who don't move their cars during a snow emergency. And now we're going to have ruts in the streets for the rest of the winter. I've sort of had enough of the snow emergency. Like, isn't there a better way we could do this?
Well, you're now the unofficial mayor of St. Paul, so if there is, you go ahead and suggest it, and they can do it.
Didn't they try something in St. Paul last year where instead of doing the odd even, they sort of they piloted like getting everybody off certain streets? I don't know. There's some way. Part of the problem is like people in Minneapolis and St. Paul have these one-car garages in the alleyway that they use as crap repositories. And so no one puts their car in the garage and everybody parks in the street.
Here's where you really could have enough of snow emergencies. The timing of when this one was announced was terrible.
Was it?
It was way too late. It was way too late because when you're sending out look, the cities do a fairly good job of sending out alerts and emails and text messages and all of the things to try to alert. But when you're doing that at, whatever it was, 10, 11 o'clock at night, people have gone to bed. And now you're towing people in the middle of the night. That's garbage. I had enough of that.
I've had enough of people who do not understand the rules of the road. There is a certain intersection, an off-ramp on the highway that Dan knows exactly the one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And
speaking of people that need education,
it's right off of 94 onto Weaver Lake Road in Maple Grove. And there is a sign clear as day that shows an arrow continuing through the right turn. You do not have to stop. You have your own lane that you continue right into. So I've had enough of people stopping. Enough. Keep driving. The other day, I was at this intersection and I honked because there were like 4 cars stopped.
Yep.
So I honked And then the first car finally went. Then went car number 2, car number 3. Car number 4 stopped. And I laid on the horn again. And they didn't move. Like, what are we doing?
That intersection.
You have your own lane.
That intersection is responsible for more road rage in this town.
Oh.
Because people don't see that sign and can't figure out
they
that
don't
there's
know
a
what
lane
it
there.
means, maybe. Yeah. 651-461-9226. What have you had enough of? Lots of texts coming in. We welcome your calls or your voice messages. Drive time back to wrap up enough in just a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I was talking to my friend Chris Lindahl last night because Chris is hiring. ChrisLindahl.com. It's Jason for Chris. He lives here in Minnesota. He's one of us. He's on the billboards, the arms wide out guy. But he is a great dude. And he's hiring because that's what Chris Lindahl's doing. That is what he does, looking for the best talent so he can solve your problems. Right now, you've heard Dan's had enough of the cold. Imagine having a house that you have to sell and trying to put your house on the market in this weather condition and this real estate market and this interest rate environment. Sounds terrible to me. ChrisLindahl.com. Guaranteed cash offer. You've heard of it. Guaranteed cash offer. Sounds catchy. You're like, I don't know. Is that really for me? Imagine having a house that you need to sell right now and being done with the whole process in as little as 2 days. That's what Chris Lindahl can do for you. You don't have to upgrade your house. You don't have to clean out the basement. You don't have to do anything. Just go to the website, get a guaranteed cash offer, and say yes. More and more Minnesotans are saying yes. There's a reason that Chris has so many 4-star reviews on Google. Is that how many you get? Is it 4 or 5? Am I screwing this up? Whatever the top one is what he has. I don't know how many stars. I give him all the stars. I give him a 10-star review. He's my friend. He will take care of you. Get that guaranteed cash offer at ChrisLindahl.com today.
From the weather to the all-Christmas music stations.
Ho, ho, ho. It's like Christmas came early.
And while you're getting ready for the holidays, we're getting you ready for the day. Stay informed and in the spirit with News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
Call Metro Heating and Cooling for a $99 furnace tune-up and safety check. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade. Dana Carvey. Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall. Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday you'll hear us and see us chatting with big name celebrities. And every Monday you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips. Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
So some slowdowns out there, 694 included, both directions between Highway 10 and 252. If you're going to be traveling into St. Paul, get ready for some slowing on East 94 as you move between 280 and downtown. Southbound 35W jammed up out of Burnsville as you make actually out of Bloomington as you head into Burnsville, past 106th Street down to McAndrews. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm Mary Jo Copeland. Sharing and Caring Hands has been helping people in need for 41 years, thanks to your generosity. To learn more, to donate, go to sharingandcaringhands.org. Make a difference in the lives of others and give hope to the children. May God bless you all.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast, thanks to Sharing and Caring Hands. It's cold. And it's going to be cold for a couple days. And then it's going to be cold for long. Friday's the warmest day of the week. 28 will be the high, but flurry. Right now, by the way, it'll be 5 below when you wake up tomorrow. Goody. It's a lot.
This is News Talk 830 WCCO. Broadcasting live from the 2026 IIHF World Junior Championship Studio. Single game tickets are on sale now at World Junior 26.
Enough!
Texters are venting what they've had enough of. You still have time to get in if you've got something to get off your chest at 651-461-9226. I've had enough of wintertime bicycle riders. There's not enough room anyway, and then you have the snow on top. It's a nightmare. I don't know how, like, it's no skin off my back. I'm not bothered by a wintertime bicycle ride. I'm sort of astonished at their craziness, but I'm fine with a wintertime bicycle rider. I've had enough of have a good rest of your day. When did that become the go-to? Hey, have a good rest of your day. If you say have a good day, did someone have enough of like, well, it's already half over? Probably. That's probably the issue. It's some crank who said, I've already, day's already ruined thanks to you. Yeah, that's sort of the deal. I don't know. I've had enough of people driving around with their high beams on. I don't mean the brighter lights on new vehicles. I'm talking about the guys who clearly have 4 headlight bills lit on the front of their vehicle. Can I say I've had enough of the bright lights?
Sure you can.
Especially in the winter where the car gets kind of dirty, right? Like the rear window gets all mucked up. And then you've got somebody's high beams coming through, refracting through the dirt. It's not good. It's not good. You would think we could have figured out the light. I've had enough of the Vikings having 35 quarterbacks over the past 30 years. The Packers have had 3. Yeah. I've had enough of no worries. I've tried to cut this out of my vocabulary because this is how this used to go. Dad, thank you for everything you've done today.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's how we did. And now we say, Dan, thank you for everything you've done today.
Yeah, no worries.
Is your welcome too formal for people? Is that why we're going with the no worries? I mean, all y'all who are saying no worries are just liars. Like, you have worries. And some of you should have worries, to be honest. 651-461-9226. Enough of tailgaters and huge 4x4s, no matter the condition. Trying to think, am I a tailgater, though? I try to keep a safe following distance. Do you use the cruise control that sort of adjusts automatically?
Yes.
So do you have that set on like 1, 2, or 3? You know what I mean? Like the 1
car length.
Yeah, I'm on the 1
because 2 is way too far away.
2 is so far away that people are cutting in front.
Well, and it's so far away that when it starts to slow you down, anticipating the next vehicle. I mean, talk about not even being close to any kind of danger where you need to be slowing down, and you're not anticipating it, and then you're what's going on, and it just screws with your driving. I think that's a very useful feature, but I think you got to have it on the 1.
And sometimes even on the 1, you're like, I got a little closer. I'm still too far. When you're in the city, the 1 is a little too far. Enough of women calling each other bro. Is this happening? Are women calling each other bro? Hey, bro. Is it bro or bra? Because my sons are in the bra category.
Bra.
Hey, bra. I get, am I bothered by women? I got to think about that. I'm not sure. The phrase y'all. I did say all y'all just a minute ago, didn't I?
You do. I don't have a problem with that though. I'm gonna, and we don't usually push back against
well,
enoughs because you're whatever's
everyone's
enough.
allowed.
Yeah, you're allowed to have whatever you want.
Yeah, but we're allowed.
But I do think this is where we lack something in English. We don't have a plural second person not conjunction. I'm blanking on the word. But you can whatever you know.
Non-gendered.
Right, because if you say you, I could be talking to you singularly. I could also be talking to a group of people, and especially if it's in a written context, you don't know what is it applying to me? Is it applying to everybody? I don't know. It's very confusing.
All of you would be better.
I think y'all's great. I think it works great.
What about you guys? I like you guys. And then, during the word police era of the early 2020s, that was, you guys was deemed like unnecessarily gendered. But I feel like you guys is just, that's a non-gendered. Maybe if I said you bros, then we'd be fine. Enough of politicians not answering questions directly. This texter is referring to our second-hour interview with Chris Madel. Now I messed it up. I did it right the whole show. You know what? Enough of me screwing things.
Yeah.
Chris Madel answered almost all of my questions very directly. But he wasn't gonna, on day 3 of his campaign, say that he disagrees with Donald Trump. Even when I said, obviously we're not talking about deporting Americans who are Somali. We're done. See you tomorrow.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to